Welcome to BYOB, Be Your Own Boss. I'm your host, Ishmael, and I can't sleep tonight, and so I thought that I would compile this video to let you know if you've landed here on this vlog, just to let you know what you should expect from me on this new blog. We'll be talking about the entrepreneurial life. We'll be talking about health, we'll be talking about fitness, and we will be talking about the new essential oils line, the new business that I started with the essential oils, the Young Living essential oils. So, with that being said, I want to start this off by kind of basically regurgitating what I had written down, or should I say typed up in my blog. If you go to ishmaelscott.com, you will see in depth, in details, what I actually wrote about. But you know, every day that I am learning, I'm seeing there's so much stuff out there that I realize that the more I learn, the more that things that I know, the more it makes me realize how much I actually don't know. There's just so much information out there just floating around, and it's just up for the grabbings. Really, it is. In the blog, I talked about the future of colleges, and you know, Mark Cuban said it. What's his face? Tai Lopez said it. They said that, you know, that the future of colleges, there's going to be a college bubble. There's going to be a college crash, basically. Kind of like what we saw in the real estate. Hold on, let me fix this camera here a little bit. Kind of like what we saw in real estate, because I think it was in 2007, I was a personal trainer, and I remember people were buying houses like hotcakes, just left and right, left and right. And this continued on for probably, I want to say, I think it was about from 2005 to 2008. And people were buying houses, people were trying to sell me houses. And I'm like, oh, I'm good. You know, I'm living in California at the time. And people were coming to the gym in their, you know, their sports cars, brand new Bentleys, you know, just throwing money away. Buying, you know, as a trainer, when I was a personal trainer at the time, people would come in, they would buy a $1,000 personal training package and not even come to the sessions. There would be just sessions just sitting there in the in the database. And so all I remember is, you know, my personal training clientele started to kind of go down. People started losing jobs. Teachers were getting pink slips. You know, they'd come in the next day and say, hey, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, you know, work out with you because I got a pink slip. I'm going to be getting fired. I'm going to be getting laid off. And so, you know, you had people who were in homes that they couldn't afford, that were way over their means. They had their children becoming accustomed to a lifestyle that they didn't deserve, number one, because they didn't earn it, okay? And, you know, people were just losing their houses left and right. And so we saw that bubble happen. And surprisingly enough, like I actually think that it wasn't as bad as it could have been. It could have been way worse. I mean, you know, what there was in like the Great Depression, you know, you had people standing in bread lines and stuff like that. I mean, like, at least we didn't experience like that in America. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that, because now that I do remember, I remember seeing that in downtown Los Angeles. Downtown Los Angeles is like, will scare the crap out of you. Okay, if you're an entrepreneur, I think one of the best places to be an entrepreneur, to grow, is in a place where you see poverty right in front of you. You know, these are the kind of places that you want to be in, because It scares the crap out of you. Okay, and so I do remember seeing people standing in lines for shelters and stuff like that. But then, like a couple blocks down, I'd see, a rich businessman who has a successful business, and it's just like, wait a minute, how can that how can these two major contrasts be on the same block, on the same street? You go down a couple blocks, there's rich people. You go down a couple more blocks from there, there's poor people. And so, there's a lot of talking about how the middle class basically is going to disappear, and I do tend to believe that's true, unless the lot of the richest men in the world, they say if you want a good job, get a college education, get college educated. If you want to become wealthy, become self-educated. And this is what I'm seeing now. Here it is, you see, young millennials, young students, they come in their very first day of college, they're tens of thousands of dollars in debt. Not all of them, because some of them are on their parents' money and some of them are on scholarships, but many of them come into college their first day in tens of thousands of dollars in debt. And so one thing that I definitely learned is that, with the changing times and the rapid pace of technology, I really started to kind of put that to use. I've really started to kind of listen to what people like Mark Cuban. He's from my hometown, Pittsburgh. Ty Lopez. Okay, I began to really kind of absorb and listen to what they're saying about basically becoming self-educated. Now, you can't just go out there and just start picking stuff and hear tidbits here and there. One thing that Ty said, he said that, and I can kind of relate to this because as a personal trainer, someone who was a personal trainer, I can take someone. I've been working out since I was 9 years old. Okay, so I know the body. That's my area. I know the body. I know how to. I've done bodybuilding competitions. I know how to get someone from point A to point B, and to get them guaranteed results. I know how to do it. I know the formula. It is a simple blueprint. If my client says, "Hey, I want to get results," is it possible? Without a doubt. But you have to follow the blueprint. You have to follow my instructions. If I tell you, don't eat X, Y, and Z, don't eat that. If I tell you get this many calories, get that many calories. If I tell you, okay, all right, this week you're dropping your fats. If I tell you next week you're dropping your carbs, okay, I expect that. I expect you to put in the grind in the workout sessions that we're in. So I could relate to what Ty was saying, because Ty, he was saying that, he had guys approach him where they're like, "Hey, I want you to teach me everything you know about social, SEO, social media, and all this stuff." He's like, "It's not going to happen all at once." And he basically used the analogy of the personal trainer, like the guy, like he talks about, how some of the greatest athletes have personal trainers. They have trainers to help them get to their desired results, because the trainer already has the experience. They already have the life experience. They already went through all the different ropes to get where they got. And so I've learned that, doing lots of research and really utilizing those business trainers, those who are already there, and being able to absorb that knowledge, and not just absorb it, but also applying it right away. And this is one thing that I've learned, is that ideas come left and right. We always see, okay, yeah, I know how to do this now. I have this idea. Oh yeah, I have that piece of knowledge. But unless you're doing anything with it, what good is it? You're not really benefiting from it. It's not translating into dollars. Okay, and so I've seen Grant Cardone is another one. He talks about how there's going to be a college bubble. He's saying the same thing, and these guys are like, without a doubt, it's coming, and you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared. You know, the social classes that we have in America, and I'm seeing this. You know, I don't think they will be the same. I think it's going to be restructured very differently. I think that we're going to see some really big contrasts between the rich and the poor. I'm sorry, I'm sitting here with my shirt off. We're going to see some big contrasts between the rich and the poor, and I see that if the middle class does not wake up and realize that we're not in those old days where it's like, okay, you just go, you're just gonna go to school, you're gonna get a college degree, you're gonna go work for someone. It really amazes me. It really amazes me to think that. Now think about this, okay? The most essential thing that you need after high school, the most essential thing that you need almost in your life after what? After water and food, is to be able to know how to acquire that money. Do you realize, I had to ponder on this and think about it. Do you realize from kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade, they teach you everything except for how to make money. They don't teach you that. They don't teach you the very basics you need to survive once you get out of high school. So I realize, there is a new education system. It's called, self-educated university. And I think that if many of us are not on that bandwagon, if we're not in that university, within the next 10 to 15